Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. All right, so trackies, let's get into the most recent results from the Oslo Diamond League. And I want to kick things off with the men's 400 meters. Now, clearly, I know why y'all are here, but you have to wait. You have to wait for me to get into that. I want to start with the men's 400 meters where we had Rusheen McDonald taking part there. Now he finished eighth, running a time of 47.60 seconds. In first place was Matthew Hudson Smith, running an area record and personal best to be the fastest European of all time over the 400-meter distance, 44.07 seconds. Kierana James was second with a season's best 44.58, and Vernon Norwood also running a season's best 44.68 seconds. Now, interestingly, on the back of this performance from Machine McDonald, I was kind of wondering after the word release if he has started to re-struggle with injuries based on his performance there. Now coming into this race as well, he pretty much did not look the typical Rasheen McDonald for sure in this particular race, hence him finishing in last place. It will be interesting to see what happens as we get closer to the national championships. Clearly he's either one carrying an injury that he's recovering from, or picked up an injury that he is recovering from, or he's just very much heavy at this particular point. But yeah, the times have to definitely start coming down for him to figure in that 400-meter field at our national championships. Now, let's jump over to that 200 meters that, yes, everybody I'm sure is eager to hear my thoughts on this particular race. Now, in this particular race, clearly, going in, I had Shericka Jackson taking the win. I had Talu and Darlita, or Darlita and Talu in top three. So it would be second and third. What actually happened? Well, Brittany Brown walked away with the win and she ran a season's best 22.32 seconds. Mary Jose Talu, sorry, finished second, running a season's best as well, 22.36. And Darlita also running a season's best, 22.50. Now, Shericka Jackson, interestingly, in this particular race, finished fifth, running a 22.97 seconds. Now, for me personally, clearly, this is on the back of Shericka Jackson saying she's in much better shape. Clearly, is going to be running much faster. In this particular race, she comes out, she places fifth, running at 22.97 seconds. Now, interesting for me, I remember last evening because I did go live and I spoke to how heavy Shericka Jackson actually looked. At her previous outing at the Diamond League. And then now to come into this particular race, that's pretty much the same, Shericka that I saw. Seems to be there's absolutely no speed work going on at all at this particular moment for Shericka Jackson over that 200 meters. So for me, it just looked like, she was just running, I guess, as you would say, heavy in this particular race, which if most people, are firing right now, then clearly they'll be able to outdo her. Now, when you talk about the times and clearly what she's used to doing, then yes, many people may be concerned. For me, I am not necessarily, as I said, concerned about Shericka Jackson because I'm looking at the 200-meter field in Jamaica and I'm thinking, okay, as long as she's able to get down to XYZ time by the time the trials rolls around, then I foresee her not having any issues and making the team. Don't think she's going to run anything ridiculous. And I think I've been talking about this from before. Don't think she's going to run anything ridiculous, at the trials. But for sure, in these coming weeks, I do believe that she'll be shedding a lot of that excess heaviness that I'm seeing there. Let's just put it that way, and hopefully getting much faster. I guess from a Jamaican perspective, yes, we would have loved to see a faster time. I don't think she looked labored in the race because I did hear the commentator saying she looked labored. Actually, she didn't look labored to me. She just looked like she was on cruise control, which for some of you may sound like I'm saying, "Oh, here you go again, another excuse." But honestly, that's what I thought. I saw. I'm gonna put up some, a few snippets on the screen for you to look at. Honestly, I thought, she was just on cruise control the whole way. Now I do know also that they were having, some rain there. I don't know if that affected her in any way, shape, or form. Because again, coming off her interview, she was ready to go much faster. So something changed between then and now, and the only thing I can think of is clear the weather conditions, right? So with that said, maybe she decided not to really, push it in this particular outing because again, I did not see a labored look from her. Clearly to me, she looks heavy, but she didn't look like she was struggling running, right? You guys can take a look at the race yourselves and tell me your thoughts as it relates to how she actually looked executing, for that fifth place finish here. To me, as I said, looking very heavy, right? But also for me personally, not looking labored. So while it's not the placing I wanted, clearly, as again as a fan of the sport, you want our athletes to win, your athletes to win. I wanted her to win. I called her for the win. It didn't happen. It is what it is. We just have to go back and see what happens in the next few outings to come. She lines up on Sunday, I believe. So that will be another opportunity to see what she'll be able to do there. Because again, I didn't get that she was putting in much effort in this race, strangely enough, because it's a stark contrast between what I saw in the first outing versus this one. I could see, the effort in her run on the first outing, with which was at 22.82. In this one, I didn't get the effort at all in this particular race. For some strange reason, it didn't look like she was trying to push at all. Even when you saw her coming off the curve, and she looked like okay, she was falling behind a Daryl Nita, Marie Jose Talu, plus Brittany Brown on the outside. It didn't seem as though there was any extra effort to try to regain any kind of momentum heading into that final 50 in the race. Didn't seem that was the case to me at all in this race. So with that said, Shericka Jackson places fifth in this race, and we'll just have to work with it and see what happens, as I said, in the next few races. Now, with that said, track is, I'm sure I'm going to hear a earful in my comment section based on, how Shericka Jackson placed in this particular race. So, sure, go off and let me know your thoughts for sure. Let me know, what did you think about the run? Did you think she looked labored? I heard the commentators saying she looked labored in the race. I don't particularly think she looked labored, but I do think I wasn't getting, the vibe that she was putting in much effort in the run. To be fair, right? That's the vibe I got. I do still think though that she's very heavy. I pointed that out last night. You know what I mean? I was still looking at her face today, and I was still, taking note of, how much heavier she looks in comparison to what you would say was the same time period last season. But it's still not enough for me to be majorly concerned about where she will place at the trials in terms of making the team. I'm not too overly concerned there, because it very much seems to me, and the more I'm watching these races over and over again, is the more I'm thinking that these coaches in Jamaica really are, and it's for the high tier athletes clearly that can maybe kind of not necessarily be at their best for the trials, right? But it really is feeling more and more as time goes on that they are actually indeed targeting the Olympic Games in terms of having the best form turn up there, you know what I mean, instead of at the trials. Because personally, as I said, I don't believe Shericka needs to be in the best shape, especially over the 200 meters. She's already gone 11:03, right, in Kingston over the 100 meters. In these last few weeks that are left, I think they're probably just going to be focusing on the speed work, and they'll definitely be able to get her down to 10:07 by no one trials, right? When it comes to the 200 meters, enough can be done for her to make the team. Not at all concerned. Hopefully, as I said, trials is really the target, like I'm thinking in my mind. Not trials, sorry. Hopefully Olympics is a target, like I'm thinking in my mind, and by then we'll see Shericka Jackson at her absolute best. There's 9 weeks to go, guys. 9 weeks. So let's see. Let me know your thoughts. As I said, like the video and subscribe. I'll catch you on in the next one. Bye.